Hello and welcome to this week's webcast for One On One Sports. I'm Jason Vonick.
And I'm Ryan Balick. Let's start things off with the quick hitters.
Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert and Mike Brown, the team's former coach, had dinner Sunday night, and there's a possibility the team may bring him back as head coach. Ryan, if you were the Cavs, would you give him another chance?
Look, I know Mike Brown got the short end of the stick there in Los Angeles. He had one season and then just 7 games or something with the brand new lineups after the Lakers thing. I just don't think Mike Brown is really that good of a coach. He hasn't really proved to me that he's an awesome coach, and he's been dominated in the past by his star players like LeBron James, like Kobe Bryant, and now you have this new roster of Cavs talent with Kyrie Irving, with Dion Waiters that are looking forward to the future, and I think bringing back Mike Brown kind of symbolizes just years of hate for Cavaliers that associate with LeBron, so I don't think it's that great of an idea.
I think that if they did bring him in, it would help only because he's a defensive-minded coach. This team is 25th in the league in points per game allowed, and they do have a lot of rising.
The team was very hurt.
They were very
They had two players who played 82 games the entire season.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
It's tough for the Cavs.
It is, but I still think it would help because people forget Kyrie Irving's obviously starting the league. He's horrible on defense. He's terrible. And if they bring Mike Brown in to help him maybe develop on the other side of the ball too, I think that would benefit the whole team.
Well, there have been rumors of LeBron going back to Cleveland eventually after his contract in Miami done. But now with Mike Brown back, do you think LeBron would ever go back to Cleveland? I just personally don't see it happening.
I'm not sure. They probably won't. I guess they're probably just trying to move on and go about with a different direction.
Exactly. The voting for which NFL player should be on the cover of Madden is a little different this year. It has come down to a vote between Detroit Lions legend Barry Sanders against the Vikings' Adrian Peterson for the cover. Jason, who do you think should be on the cover of Madden 14?
This is no disrespect to one of the greatest running backs of all time, but it 150% has to be Adrian Peterson.
Good.
I can't remember the last time someone was more worthy of being on the cover for it. He hurts his ACL, comes back earlier than expected, and runs for 2,100 yards.
He was amazing last
year. It was
year.
Unbelievable. Barry Sanders will get his chance eventually, and he should. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, they haven't really done the whole Legends thing yet, so I mean, this would kind of be the first, I guess, really assortment of
not this
having
year,
a legend.
no.
I agree, not this year, especially if you put Barry Sanders in now, you run the risk of running back-to-back Madden covers with Detroit Lions players. Come on, you cannot do that. You cannot have the representative of the NFL on a video game as a Detroit Lion. Oh, that is horrible. That is terrible. That is not allowed.
Once they win the Super Bowl or do something good, then maybe. But
Adrian Peterson put up a year last year you could only do in a video game. Ruin your ACL and then come back for over 2,000 yards. Spectacular. Has to be Adrian Peterson.
Historic is an understatement for his season last year. There's been controversy lately over the fact that the Baltimore Ravens have to begin their season on the road, mostly due to the Orioles having a home game that night. Ryan, is this fair to the Super Bowl champions that they have to open on the road?
Is it fair? Come on, it's the NFL. You win the championship, and you should have to play the hardest game of the season as your first game, and you should be pumped, frankly, if you're a Ravens fan. I mean, the Ravens lost a ton of talent in the offseason. They should want to go out and prove something, and especially a team like Denver, who everybody is already pretty much naming as Denver and San Francisco as the two teams are going to meet in the Super Bowl this year. So go out and prove a point for the Ravens. You should be excited about this going to Denver.
Right. I mean, it kind of makes sense to me that they would do a good matchup like the divisional last year.
It's going to be great for television ratings.
Yeah, it really is. And again, you say proving everyone wrong. If they go into Denver and win that game, that will put the Ravens completely on the radar for everybody. Regardless, they should have a home game, but if there's an Orioles game and they think that's getting in the way, leave it at that. Shouldn't be talked about anymore.
Well, what's amazing is that Baltimore, with the great season they had last year, they won the Super Bowl. They're still going to be underdogs in this game, and everybody's still going to pick Denver to win just because of Peyton Manning and that star-studded lineup now that they have added Wes Welker.
Yeah, I feel like all the top-heavy teams have gotten better, and then there's a little bit of separation from that next tier.
So the Ravens definitely have a point to prove.
Yeah.
The Big Ten is one of many conferences that is going through realignment currently as they change their divisions from the Legends and the Leaders divisions to the East and the West when Maryland and Rutgers joined the conference in 2014. Jason, do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea?
I mean, it's not a great idea, but generically I think it's good because if you think about it, traveling for college students is very difficult, and especially for these athletes. If they have to go really far,
from a travel standpoint,
they're
see
missing classes, and now that they have the 6 Central Time teams in the same spot along with Purdue in the West, I think that makes it easier in that aspect. But talent-wise, at least for now, East is top-heavy. I mean, there will be some good rivalries like Michigan, Ohio State.
I understand the travel is very important, but the West is a joke. I mean, the West currently, as it's protected right now, is Wisconsin, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, Northwestern, and Purdue. If Wisconsin doesn't win the Big Ten West in basketball and football, it'll be a disappointing season every single year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no competition. The East has such, it's going to be awesome watching the East, but it's going to be like the SEC East and SEC West sometimes when it's just imbalanced, and I just think it's a cakewalk for Wisconsin. Not the best idea for the Big Ten.
Maybe if the Nebraska fan who's a cancer patient comes and runs for
there
another
you go.
touchdown,
Maybe they'll sign him up.
they'll get there. Maybe they'll.
Hey, he's
get
been
there.
the top play on SportsCenter for what, 9 weeks in a row?
Yeah,
Something like that?
it's not stopping anytime soon. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for this block. But when we return, our MLB experts will break down the opening weeks of the season. Stay tuned.